Hi guys, it's Chris and I am here today doing a react to somebody I don't cover all that much, and it is Learning to Be Fearless, aka Alexandra Rodriguez. And I guess she's got a problem or something with her OBGYN. Oh, don't mind the dog. He's the channel dog. Everyone knows Frodo. He's in a bad mood. What else is new? I guess she's having some trouble with her OBGYN, and I guess she did learn recently that she's pregnant. First of all, I want to say congratulations. I would never not want people who want to legitimately be parents and want to have babies. I would never wish for them to not be able to experience that. I didn't think I could have children, and the best thing that's ever happened to me is my little boy. So I am happy for her. That being said, I do have some criticisms and some opinions, and maybe I'm a little too harsh for Alexandra fans. I don't know. I'm going to give some information for those of you who don't know. I am a former medical care provider. One of the things I was, in fact, trained to do was deliver babies. And we have done that actually once in the back of my ambulance back in the day. And I've also gone through a pregnancy. So, nothing I am saying is because I don't wish her the best. I absolutely hope this works out, that she's healthy, the baby's healthy. I would wish nothing less. I do have her sped up for time. I will link her full video down below. I don't know if she talks about anything else in this video. It's her video titled Why I Had to Leave my OBGYN Office. So I will skip over anything else that's not relevant. So let's just get right into this and see what we get into.
I am currently...
Okay, here. Make sure it's the
Alright, so I am just doing a little drive and talk. I don't know if I'm going to post this. Pardon this angle. This is the only way I can film in my car. And
I hate looking at myself from this angle. Like, I would absolutely cover up my chin and stuff too. I guess if you're going to vlog while you drive, fine. So long as you literally tell people I cannot acknowledge this camera and I can't keep, and she keeps like looking at it, I guess. And that's no bueno. So I think if you're not somebody who can focus on the road, you really probably shouldn't be vlogging at all. It's probably better to just do the vlogging parked, pulled over someplace anyways, but
I'm driving around right now and kind of processing something that happened to me yesterday. And I'm still at this point not sure if I want to share this.
And I know Alexandra is another one with quite a victim complex. So that's kind of standard for our girls, right?
Or not, because
I do not know a lot about her. I see very little. I don't cover her because she doesn't go over weight loss and stuff too much. I know she's had procedures, but mainly all she does is buy things, talk about them. Oh my God, it's a new day, it's a new week, it's a new season. I gotta get this decoration and that decoration I want. She's such a vapid consumer, and all she cares about is buying things, showing them off, and then getting rid of them or whatever and buying new things. It's like such gross over consumerism, and there's not any real substance to her and to her content. If you like it and that's what you like to, okay, fine, that's cool. It's just personally not for me, and she does very well for herself doing this, clearly. But I do give her credit. Her video quality, and she does do a good job of the style of vlogging she does. Like, Amberlyn Reed tries to do what Alex does and fails miserably. At least Alex goes out and about and does things and has friends and has side characters, and she's better at trying things and describing things. All Amber can do is hold something up and go, "Oh my god, it's so cute!" Like, "Oh my god, guys," and that's it. So I do give Alex credit. She is a more high tier. I wouldn't even call her a vlogger so much as a hauler.
Yesterday, and I'm still at this point not sure if I want to share this or not, because I don't know. I know there's going to be backlash, but I also feel like it's really important to talk about this. And over my, long time here on YouTube, I've always shared when these kinds of things have happened to me, when I have felt, I don't know, discriminated against because of my size.
Yeah, and see this problem, she's one of the ones that's really bad about crying fat phobia. And it's just so frustrating because our country, people are so entitled and weak and sensitive. I mean, you can't give people true criticism anymore, even when it's valid, when it's legitimate, when it is something they need to hear that will help them. It's all about, "Oh, you can't hurt anybody's feelings." And it's like, what? How did we come to this?
Size, or just treated differently, rather, maybe. And
That's because your size, like it or not, girl, affects a lot of things, including the people around you. So I don't think people should be blatantly mean, but everybody has a right to have an opinion and to judge to some degree. I think a little bit of shame, at least, is a good thing. And that's one of the biggest problems these days, is that people just absolutely lack shame and have such an overinflated ego and sense of entitlement. Those are like two of the worst things we have going on right now.
I just feel like it's something to talk about, something important to talk about. So I am currently 10 and a half weeks pregnant. And
okay, now here's my first beef. And nothing I say, I'm not diagnosing, I'm not wishing any ill on her or whatever, but 10 and a half weeks is very early in a pregnancy. It's in the first trimester. Each trimester is 3 months. Most people don't really share that they're pregnant at that time in case something happens, and you know what I'm talking about. And she has a history of not carrying a pregnancy. I don't even know. I'm just trying to censor myself. Miscarrying, okay? And she just had one recently, I guess. She has fertility issues. It's like people kind of keep it under wraps in case something happens, because the more you talk about people you're pregnant, you get excited, and then if something happens and you get upset, then everybody knows, or maybe somebody doesn't know, and then they start asking you about it later down the line, and you have to explain, "Oh, that didn't work out." And it's very heart-wrenching, and it's painful, and losing these babies is very, very sad for a couple and a woman. So I just feel like until they were better, in a more secure spot, she probably shouldn't have announced this. But I saw, of course, she's already announced it, and I saw that they even already got pregnancy photographs taken, and they're cute and all, but I don't want her to be setting herself up for heartache, considering her history with fertility issues.
I've been going to the same OBGYN now for a couple years, and I had a miscarriage with them last June, and I really love my practice. I loved my practice, because I won't be going there anymore. Yesterday, I had my first appointment with a doctor, because my 8-week appointment was just with the ultrasound tech. So this appointment I had yesterday was with my doctor, my first doctor appointment, going through everything that's coming up, kind of giving me the rundown, did a pelvic exam, and all that. So I will say, my original OB, I loved.
And she's a high risk pregnancy, so they may require her to get more checkups and things like that. more often. They may require more blood work, more blood sugar testing and stuff, because with her being so big, she is at a greater chance for things like gestational diabetes and other complications, which I'll get into a little bit about those later on. So yeah, she's not going to have the exact same kind of treatment plan that a normal sized, healthy sized woman would have.
So much. And I got notified about a month ago that she was leaving the practice. And I'm like, oh, that sucks. I love her. She was so amazing during my miscarriage last year. She was just extremely empathetic. Just, I adored her with all my heart. So I was
Yeah,
bummed.
and I do, if that did happen, I do feel bad for her. Like I said, that can be heart-wrenching. I struggled with fertility. I was told I could never have kids or like carry a baby. So when I unexpectedly got myself so healthy that I helped my PCOS to a degree that I conceived my son, we were like literally shocked. We just weren't expecting it. It was the last thing, and oh my Lord, what an amazing little surprise that was.
Because I was prepared to go through this pregnancy with her. So I got assigned to a new person.
Well, couldn't she go follow that doctor to her new practice, unless maybe she moved out of state or something like that, and in which case, yeah, that sucks, because you get really attached to your doctor, and like, especially when you go through a whole pregnancy and they're taking care of you a whole pregnancy, you become very dependent almost and trusting of them. Like, my doctor was great. I'll have to go over my pregnancy story someday. Maybe if I ever get a channel memberships or something, I'll do it. I don't know. But the fact is I had a high risk pregnancy. There were issues, not with my personal health and my son. We were fine. It was just a preterm labor thing. But my son, I went into labor with him a month early, like 4.5 weeks early, and my doctor was out of town the day I went into labor. So I had to have another doctor I'd never seen before deliver him, and I was like, oh no. And she was great, she was amazing, but it really kind of stressed me out that day, because I was like, why isn't he here? He's not allowed to be on vacation. This is happening. So I'm sure he would have been back when my son was technically due, but my kiddo just doesn't have patience, and he didn't have it back then, and he wasn't waiting.
I met with her yesterday, and unfortunately the vibe wasn't great from the beginning. I'm overly friendly. I want to like connect with you. I want to connect with you. I want to feel a connection with you. Like, this is a big deal for me. This is my first, well, it's my second pregnancy, but like, I don't have a child as of yet, because I've only gotten pregnant once before and I miscarried. So this is like all very new to me. It's very foreign. It's scary. There's a lot going on. And like I said,
I was terrified. I was terrified of being pregnant. I never actually wanted to have kids, like of my own, because I was so terrified of not just being pregnant. Like, that's weird, you know, like the thought, oh my God, there's like another living human inside me. It's like, it's kind of bizarre, but I got over that. But the actual giving birth absolutely mortified me. I'm not afraid to admit it. It's a thing. So I can understand it being very scary. And if you have these problems, and then with a high risk pregnancy and potentially having issues, that just makes it even more scary, because then you know, this is always on your mind. And if anything happens, you tend to like want to blame yourself and think, oh, did I do something? Could I have done something different? So yeah, being pregnant is a very trying, it's a scary time.
This practice for a while, and I was like, well, that's fine. Like, I'll go with any doctor there, because I haven't met anyone in that practice that's not like phenomenal. Even the people like at the reception desk, ultrasound, blood work, everyone there is just so sweet. So I meet with the doctor. Yarman's with me, my husband, and we're in the room, and we're starting the process of talking about everything. And she says to me, you know, we have a BMI cap here, right? And I'm like,
look at that face.
No one told me this. She's like, yeah, we put it into practice last summer, a BMI cap. And my heart like immediately just sank, because I'm like, first of all, I just didn't even know that this was like a thing at some practices. Already BMI is such bullshit, and I'm so glad that doctors
first of all, BMI is not total bullshit. I know it's not perfect, but it is good for the averages, okay? And if you really want to do something more accurate, use a height to waist ratio. And if that is what you're using, Alexandra, you would actually be classified as more obese than the BMI classifies you as. So I wouldn't knock it. And 3, I hate to break it to her, they probably have a BMI cutoff because after a certain point, and I did some research to look up specific numbers and stuff, and a lot of practices, you are considered high risk due to your size at a BMI of 30 and above. And guys, how many Americans, like how many American women have a BMI of 30 or above? A ton of them. Most US women are overweight, and many of those overweight are obese. And we're getting more and more like largely obese people. But once you're like considered BMI 30 and above and you're overweight, you're considered a high risk pregnancy. And so they might want you to go to a doctor or a clinic that specializes in high risk pregnancies. And I don't know how this surprised her. She struggled with her weight most of her life. She's been incessantly unhappy because of her size. Yet here we are. Okay. I'm going to let her keep talking, and then I'll give some more observations.
Are starting to realize that, because
yeah, and like I said, that's not good for people like you, because they want them to replace it with nothing. They're not replacing the BMI because, oh, people being fat isn't bad. No, it's because it's not. If they want something more clinically accurate, height to waist ratio, or at least a DEXA scan or something, and those would classify you worse off than you are now. By way of height to waist ratio, more people would move up into the next category, be it if you were normal, you would be considered, by BMI standards, you would be considered overweight. And you know what I mean? It's much more accurate, and she wouldn't like that. These people just don't like hearing the truth and the reality of their situation and what they've done to themselves. I'm sorry. Alexandra has absolutely done this to herself, and now she's refused to change it, so she has to deal with those consequences.
health and weight are already not synonymous, but also
What? Wait.
realize that, because health and weight are already not synonymous, but
Your health and weight are almost exclusively synonymous. Like this, oh my God. God, breathe, Chris. This fantasy that your weight does not affect your health is so, it's bullshit, guys. She's a perfect example. She has fertility issues due to her size. Tell me again how your health and size are not related. You can have problems with your health from being too big, from being too thin, from, even if you're too big by the way of having too much muscle, like these really big, muscly bodybuilders, not having enough muscle mass, being skinny fat. Being thin doesn't automatically equal healthy. You can be a little chubby, a little overweight, thick. And for as long as it's not primarily in your abdomen, like if you're a female and you more have like the booty and the hips and the thighs, but your stomach is still, you've got a decent waist measurement. Yeah, that can be okay. But once you get into where you are at the high end of overweight, or you start hitting obese, you are not healthy. I don't care about, my blood work is perfect. My blood pressure is amazing. It's okay. And this is and I've had a lot of my viewers tell me they love this saying. And my phrase for that is, everything's good until it isn't. You're, quote, healthy until you're not. These things go, they fluctuate from day to day, from hour to hour, some of these things. And they're not a good indicator. Basic blood labs, your body's amazingly resilient, and it can maintain a level of homeostasis for quite a long time before it starts shitting the bed on you. And but if you did liver scans on her, checked her liver function, did scans like MRIs and stuff to look at where she's carrying her fat, the visceral fat around her organs, potential for enlarging of the heart, circulatory issues, checking her arteries for arteriosclerosis or atherosclerosis. Her fasting blood sugars, her fasting insulin is more important because your blood sugars will maintain for quite a while before you actually become noticeably pre or full blown type 2 diabetic. But I guarantee her insulin is, I guarantee she has insulin resistance. Fatty liver, just so many things. Her inflammatory markers, her triglycerides. High cholesterol is not bad for you guys. That is like, they're really learning more about cholesterol and how it's not the boogeyman they made it out to be. But what kind of cholesterol you have in your blood is important. Like if you checked her triglyceride levels and the size and shape and density of her cholesterol particles, the inflammatory markers in her blood like C-peptides, CRPs, liver enzymes, things like amylase, lipase, all those things, ferritin. I guarantee those would paint a different picture. And even if they were within normal ranges, you will see problems creeping up in those type of numbers a lot of the time before you see them in somebody's blood sugar or blood pressure or something like that. So I go on my freaking rants because she's very serious when she says this health and size are not synonymous, and they absolutely are. At her size, she's not healthy, and she's not happy about her size either. So she's mentally not healthy.
Also, I'm very heavy because I've been working out since I was like 10 years old.
What? So she's this heavy because she's been working out. So you mean to tell me this entire body is just solid muscle? She's like a bodybuilder. None of that is fat. None of that's visceral fat. None of that's adiposity. That's all muscle from this woman being a freaking fit. No, this is the delusion I'm talking about. You're not fat because you worked out since you were 10. You're not fat because you started dieting your whole life or at 10. You're fat because you eat too much. You haven't made changes you need, and you don't want to give up food. And she doesn't exercise that aggressively or anything. I've seen clips of it. This is delusional, and I'm sorry, frankly, it terrifies me that she's going to bring a kid into this world and teach them these things. I mean, at least the dad is in good shape. Hopefully I don't know why he doesn't put his foot down and say, look, you actually have to lose this weight. It's not healthy for you. It's not healthy for our baby. You're going to die sooner, and I'm going to be raising this child on my own, and you're going to teach this kid your bad habits with food. I just can't believe a guy that is relatively fit and healthy should be putting up with this. She's big because she eats.
Go to the gym since I was a child. I've been on diets since I was a child, but more than anything, I've been working out since I was a child. I recently lost 100 pounds over the last couple of years.
And again, I don't 100% know her whole story. I know she's had like weight loss procedures. That chin procedure she had was an absolute bad choice because she gained all the weight back now. So that stitching and that tucking they did to it, it just looks weird. But I think she did lose a little bit of weight with her gastric bypass. I think it was maybe 50 pounds, maybe 60 max. She tries to say she's only gained 5 pounds back. No way. Whatever she gained, she's probably gained at least 25, 30 pounds back, at least. I don't believe she ever lost 100. She hasn't changed her eating. You know, she still drinks all these sugar, like these no sugar, like sugar-free lattes with the sugar-free syrups and creamers. Okay, but guess what? I have a coffee in front of me with a sugar-free creamer in it, but there's still 15 calories a serving. I mean, there's still energy in those things that you have to account for, and she doesn't. And she still picks and nips and has all kinds of snacks and has a bunch of parties and stuff, always centered around food. She's always trying new things and taste testing new things, and she like refuses to really eat any meaningful like healthy protein and vegetables. She's a carbaholic. She always eats a lot of things like potatoes and crackers and chips and pasta, and she goes, "Oh, my pasta is perfectly allowed by my dietitian. It's protein pasta. It's protein pasta. It's a good source of protein. You know what's a good source of protein? Actual freaking protein. Fish, beef, lamb, veal, chicken, you name it. Even tofu, at least, is a complete plant-based protein. Just get the non-GMO. Protein pasta, guys, yes, it has a little more protein than regular pasta, but it's still pasta. Pasta should be considered a treat. It's still a basic refined carbohydrate. And someone like Alex, that gives her the green light to eat even more of it. Oh, I need my protein. I need my protein, so I got to eat more. And guess what? One, it's going to be an incomplete protein compared to an animal protein. And second of all, pasta is still calorically very dense. A serving's not that big, and you have to eat more of it to get your protein in. So she's going to be eating more of it. You're going to eat a bigger portion, with and take in more energy, that she's clearly not burning off. And then it will spike your blood sugar, and then you get those cravings and those crashes, and you want to eat more and more and more because it's just not satiating. It's not good for you. So this chick will do anything. She's one of those ones that make any excuses to still eat modified versions of the crap she wants. Like Anna O'Brien does this. Oh, all my snacks, my protein snacks. Guys, she put protein, Swedish fish into a snack box the other day. It's still a candy. At the end of the day, you still have to watch how much you're taking in compared to how much you're putting out. And this woman still has a horrible diet. She has a diabolical diet. Ugh.
Years when I had gastric bypass. And
But yeah, she didn't lose weight. She didn't use the gastric bypass to make any meaningful changes. She wasted it. She absolutely wasted it. This is clearly a woman who doesn't want to give up her eating, doesn't want to give up the food she likes, has issues with food, doesn't want to admit it. Because it's not cute or anything like that to be like, oh yeah, I glutton myself. So this denial, and then again, she's going to use a pregnancy. Oh, I have to eat more, and don't forget the cravings. Oh, don't forget those pregnancy cravings. And I'm eating for two, and she's going to blow up. And I hate to be the bearer of bad news. But you only need to eat an increase of maybe 150 to maybe 300 calories max extra a day during pregnancy. The equivalent of maybe 2 or 3 eggs. And that 300 and stuff, that's like in the later stages of your pregnancy. When the baby is growing super rapidly to put on that size for delivery. You don't need to eat 800 or 1,000 calories more day. You don't have to give in to every craving and whim you have. You should only gain, and I looked it up. I have a paper pulled up here. It's like you should gain, especially if you have a BMI of 30 or over, no more than between 11 and 30 pounds max, or 11 and 20 pounds during a pregnancy. If you are overweight, extremely overweight, or morbidly obese like Alex is, you can actually maintain your weight or lose a couple pounds during a pregnancy. A lot of times that's actually better for the baby and you. Of course, you have to do it under your doctor's supervision and stuff like that. And the problem is at this point, Alex should not be eating more at all. She should be eating within a healthy calorie limit, and she should be focusing on whole foods. Lots of good proteins, good fats, lots of vegetables, low sugar fruits, some occasional like measured out snacks like nuts and seeds, some cheeses, take her prenatal vitamins. My doctor prescribed me a calcium supplement, just because I eat a lot of eggs and things like that. Eggs were 85% of my pregnancy diet, I'll have you know. Especially like our backyard chicken eggs. So this woman shouldn't be eating more at all, actually, because she already eats too much. She should be eating what she's eating or a little less and changing it to completely whole foods, which is what she should have been doing in the beginning, because your health and what you take in, your nutrition, directly affects the growth and development of that baby in you. To sit there and just pig out on junk food because it's your excuse to eat whatever you want is it's irresponsible and it's dangerous. You want to put as much good nutrition into you for that baby to grow and develop properly and have all the building blocks literally it needs to build itself for life. I can just see her using it as an excuse to like pig out and have all her treats and blow up. And yeah.
Like 95% of it off. So I have a long history of
only being a year or two out, guys, too, from gastric bypass. You shouldn't be maintaining or gaining a little bit of it, but you should be still be in the losing phase.
Struggling with weight, and I just hate BMI so much because I am very heavy, because I'm very muscular. Like,
Alex, you're not your size because of muscle. Look at the shape of your body. You don't have any visible muscle tone on you. See, this is the delusion that is bad. And I'm sorry, like I do wish her the best, and I want her, I hope she has a healthy, happy pregnancy. I hope she uses it as an act, like finally a reason to get her shit together. But at her size, knowing her problems with her food, only having had surgery a year and a half, 2 years ago, whatever, it was, in my mind, a little bit irresponsible of her to actively try to get pregnant at this time, because she doesn't have her health and her weight and her eating in order. Oh my God. And then if she has this baby, she's never going to lose the weight again. She's going to gain and gain. And her excuse is going to be, oh, I'm so tired. I was up all night with the baby and being a mom. You know, I'm just so busy and I'm stressed. It's going to be an excuse to just, you know, blow right back up.
High percentage of my, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of fat in there too.
I was very healthy and had a healthy weight after my pregnancy. And I struggled to get the weight out, and I've never been that size again. You know, now of course I have emotional eating issues with disordered and binge eating. And I did suffer a few years ago from a medical condition that left me debilitated physically and mentally. So it was very hard to lose weight. And I did gain a lot of weight, but that's also because I was very sedentary. I'm a very small framed woman. I have severe PCOS and stuff like that. So my caloric needs aren't very high. So it was easy for me eating junk to just blow past that and overeat and gain weight.
And I'm like, not fat, but I have a lot of muscle and it makes me heavier. And
Alex, you are fat. You are not all muscle. You're not like, oh my God. Oh my God. Guys, it's not fat. It's muscle. She had gastric bypass because she's muscle.
with that, it makes my BMI so much higher. And as someone who's worked out now for consistently over the last year.
Yeah, but your workouts are very like lax. Like, Alex, you don't do really hard, intense workouts. Is it good she's doing things? Yes. Is she doing enough? No.
Worked heavily on eating more balanced.
Your food is not balanced. You primarily eat processed carbohydrates.
Lost a significant amount of weight. Who has
No, at your size, 40 or 50 or 60 pounds, it's good, yes, but it's not significant.
Perfect blood work, perfect blood pressure. Like, I just
okay, and like I just said, I explained this. That stuff is not the best indicator of your health. I have perfect blood work. I have perfect blood pressure. What's your resting heart rate? You know, Can you walk a mile without wanting to keel over? Do you have flab on your abdomen that you can like pick up and squeeze and flop? Or like, she's just in the denial is so bad that it's so wow. Like, and she's just drank the freaking healthy at every size body positivity Kool-Aid so much. She truly believes that she's not that fat and that she eats healthy and that she is not this size because of anything she's doing. And that's all the things.
Just hate BMI so much. I just think there are a million and one other better ways to measure.
Yeah, and the better ways to measure would make you classify you as bigger, like if she's classified BMI as class 2 obesity right now, which she's probably skirting that line between class 2 and class 3, which class 3 is morbid obesity. It would automatically move you up to the next category. So you would cry and complain and moan about that. And then what are you going to do? Cry that that's not accurate and that's fat phobic and demand something else? These people just don't want to face freaking reality. They're like delusional.
Health. And it's honestly just
you don't have good health, Alexandra. You're young. You're in your late 20s. So things are still holding up. Believe me, when they start crashing, and it's gonna happen, it's not gonna be pretty. This is just your body is still really young and it can really hold out for a long time. But it is going to change.
To discriminate against fat people.
It's not discriminating. Telling you you're an unhealthy weight, that you eat too much, that your diet is unhealthy is not discrimination. Especially when you have, when you have the audacity to want to get pregnant and carry a baby in your body, the baby that's depending on you to make it and grow it healthy and safely, and then you're going to raise this child with your habits, the audacity for you to just say, oh, all this is bullshit, this is all just discrimination. No, you should be able to seriously take a look at yourself and say, okay, I have a problem. I do have these problems. I eat too much. I don't eat healthy. I can't just eat all the protein pasta all the time. I can't snack on stuff. I need to eat real food. I need to make changes. I need to tell myself no on a daily basis and have some self-control and deal with not getting what I want every time I want something. Have a little bit of self-restraint. It's called being responsible and being an adult. And now you're not just responsible for yourself. You're responsible for that little one. So if her attitude doesn't change, that's absolutely horrid.
And show that society just wants to cater to a specific kind of person. So
society in America caters to you, Alex, a morbidly obese consumer. They're making things bigger and easier to get a hold of every day. Meals are bigger, portions are bigger, things are unhealthier, food is everywhere. You don't even have to get off of your butt to order food or have anything delivered to your door. Brands are adding fat people into their advertising and making things bigger and like, you are so represented and catered to in generally the Western world, but I know I'm speaking from America. I'm from America. So what you just said is absolutely ridiculous. You know who is made fun of and shunned and called crazy and unhealthy and stuff like that are healthy people who say no to the cake, people who pack a healthy lunch instead of getting fast food, people who want to be fit and healthy and go to the gym instead of going out to happy hour with friends. Those are the people that are marginalized and discriminated against and made fun of these days. Not you, not people like you, Alex. You know why? Because people like you they make money off of you, you know, so, oh.
Oh, when she says this, my heart immediately drops because I actually had just had a scare a couple days before with some bleeding, and I'm already going.
Okay, now, I will tell you, obviously, if you're bleeding or anything's wrong, contact your doctor. Go to the emergency room. There is a thing in the first trimester, and this is why a lot of women don't know they're pregnant in their first trimester because they mistaken this for a light period. So the fact that she knows she's pregnant already, she had to have been actively trying and doing that thing where she takes pregnancy tests every freaking day to get that glint of a positive. There's this thing called implant bleeding in the first trimester where the egg is like physically implanting itself into the lining of your uterus to set up shop. That's where it's going to grow and be the duration of its stay. So that will cause some bleeding. That will cause some cramping. And a lot of women mistaken it for a light period. So obviously let your doctor know about things like this. But a lot of the time that's very likely what that is. When you are high risk, obviously, like this totally not morbidly obese, muscular specimen of a woman, you know, you have problems like her with high risk, you should talk to your doctor for sure.
Into this appointment, very anxious, just dying to like make sure the baby still has a heartbeat, make sure everything looks okay. And this is like the first thing that's kind of dropped.
If you cared so much about the well-being of your little bean in there, Alex, why haven't you been actually making changes to your lifestyle and your diet and losing weight? At her size, yeah, she's not the biggest girl in girl world, but she could still lose weight at this point fairly easily. This is her job. This is what she does. She has time to prep real good, healthy meals, whole food, exercise more, go on more walks, go to a pool, swim. She has every opportunity and no excuses, all the money in the world to go and start really making changes and live a healthy lifestyle. She realistically should have dropped at least another 100 pounds before she even thought about trying to get pregnant. But no, can't do that. Can't do that because that takes work and self-discipline and effort. And no instant gratification with food, with protein pasta and shit.
Dropped on me in my appointment, and I'm kind of just taken aback, and like I'm choking back tears immediately. Like I am hormonal. Even if I wasn't hormonal, I'm choking back tears. Like this is a lot of information to just
see. She's already starting the excuses. I was crying because I'm hormonal, which I'm sure you are, but you're holding back tears because you're being told the truth and not what you want to hear. Like it or not, you're morbidly obese, not because of muscle, and you are a very high-risk pregnancy. So I suggest you really get your act together, like, immediately, because, like I said, I would like to see you have a healthy, happy pregnancy and baby.
Be dropped on me when I'm already highly emotional, exhausted, scared, shitless of losing my baby, etc.
See, she's already emotionally exhausted and see, the excuses are starting already. I didn't know I was pregnant until I was almost 4.5 months pregnant. You know what I mean? Like, she's 10 weeks along. Oh, I'm already hormonal and exhausted. And I mean, how is this woman going to be when she's like 4, 5, 6, 7 months into it? Oh, God. Like, ugh. That phrase wasn't lying when it said that the weak would inherit the world someday, right?
And
I'm sorry, I'm being a little harsh and whatever, but it's like, it's not just her. It's like this little baby that she chose to bring into this world. Like, it's that baby's well-being too. So just knowing how much I love being a mom and how special my kid is to me, it makes me mad because it's like, you should just want nothing more than she'll say, oh, I want this baby to be healthy. I want my pregnancy to be healthy. But I bet she won't change her food. I bet she'll gain weight. You know what I mean? At her size, she could maintain her weight during this pregnancy and be healthy. The baby would still grow and stuff. I bet you she doesn't. Oh, get a clue. Okay.
She's like, yeah, we put it into practice last summer. But like, there was no empathy behind it. I was kind of expecting her to be like, I know it sucks. I'm sorry. Like,
No, that she wants them to sit there and go, "Oh my God, we're so sorry. We put this mean old BMI limit on into practice and into effect. I'm so sorry. Miss Muscle Mommy here. I know it shouldn't apply to you, but it does." No, they're just gonna say this is the practice and this is why. They're not gonna like coddle you and kiss your butt. You've known for years you need to lose weight and you're not doing it. You refuse to do it. You're a high risk pregnancy. So they're going to have you go see an OBGYN who deals more specifically in high risk pregnancies.
I don't agree with it. But she just kind of said it in like this tone. I was just like, yeah, you're out of luck. She's like, at least you're early in your pregnancy, so it won't be hard to switch. But I will.
Yeah. It's easier to switch early in your pregnancy than several months along. And guess what? It's also early enough that you can make a lot of changes to your diet and lifestyle right now, Alex, and it will have an amazingly positive effect on both you and the little one.
Say you're only 10 pounds away from hitting that limit. Do you think you could only gain 10 pounds during your pregnancy? And I'm like, no. I mean, I haven't gained anything yet, but I'm only 10 and a half weeks. Like, I got a long way to go. Do I feel comfortable? Like, I will hit the cap of the BMI limit if I gain 10 pounds. She's like, we can still care for you and have you in the practice until you gain the 10 pounds if you want to wait to switch.
And see, they just asked her, do you think you could only gain 10 pounds during this pregnancy? And she said, no, because she's absolutely going to eat. She's going to eat what she wants. She's going to eat more, and she's going to use the excuse of I'm eating for two and cravings and hormones as the reason. This is fucked up. I am sorry. And I don't really say that word in my reacts. I'm very sorry, but it is because we're talking about a baby here. And guess what? They wouldn't have asked her about could you only gain 10 pounds of weight during this pregnancy if it was unhealthy. So, oh no, a pregnancy is an excuse to eat whatever I want and pig out. And, and people can't say anything and I can gain weight because it's the pregnancy's fault. It's not mine. She could, like I just said earlier, she could maintain her weight or even lose a few pounds during her pregnancy. But she already has it in her head. I get to eat what I want and give in to cravings and all this stuff because I'm pregnant. I was 107, and I used to check my weight every day. I was adamant. I was 117 pounds when I was pregnant. And when I left the hospital with my son, I checked my weight. I was 130. So I came home from the hospital with my son 13 pounds heavier, which means I gained less or maybe around about 20 to 25 pounds. And that's counting that I was measuring big and I had more amniotic fluid because they believe in the beginning my son was actually twins, but they believe I miscarried one very early on before I found out I was pregnant. But it caused my pregnancy hormone to measure higher, and it caused me to measure higher my uterus, my fundus it's called, and it caused me to have more amniotic fluid. But once the amniotic fluid was gone, the baby was out, the placenta was out, I probably didn't gain 25 pounds actually. Yeah, and that was me, a 117 pound healthy BMI woman. I'm 5 foot, almost 5'1", and 117 was healthy for me. And I gained, like I said, around 20 pounds. So Miss Muscle here, who's tall, she's a taller woman, morbidly obese to the point where she's had to have several weight loss procedures. She could absolutely go through this pregnancy and only gain 10 pounds. That's disgusting. I'm sorry. That shows you that her freaking, you know what?
But I'm sure you want to switch sooner to get more comfortable with.
Can you only gain 10 pounds during this pregnancy? No, I haven't gained any yet, but I'm early on. Do you feel the frustration? Guys, this woman could have a perfectly healthy pregnancy without gaining not 1 pound. Jesus.
Build a relationship with your new doctor. And like my mind is just swirling.
And like, let's get into the technicalities for a minute. She is so much, oh, look at that onion smelling look she has on her face. The risks are very high for her to have gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, problems with things like placenta abruptia, placenta previa, which is like, like abruptia is where your placenta detaches early and it's like a medical emergency. She can have problems with the nutrition of the baby, the growth of the baby, the size of the baby, developmental issues with the baby, just a myriad of things. And all this woman's like, no, I can't only gain 10 pounds. Like, what? You are like, there are true legitimate concerns and risks and dangers. I mean, oh my God. Okay.
It's swirling. And when she said, like, you think you could only gain 10 pounds? I'm like, I'd have to lose weight at that point during my pregnancy because between the baby and fluid and water weight, like, there's just no way.
No, Alex, there absolutely is a way. At your size, I know you'd have to like do some leaning and shredding, because of all the muscle, you'd have to like downsize. You could absolutely lose weight, and then you and the baby would both be healthier and better off for it. Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry. This woman is freaking selfish.
There's just no way. And I'm kind of panicking.
No way, she says. No way. I almost don't want to hear not one more word out of this bitch's mouth because, okay.
Because I'm like, well, where do I go? I don't know. I'm freaking out.
You need to call around to some OBGYNs and say, look, I'm morbidly obese and I'm pregnant when I shouldn't be because I didn't lose the weight I needed to. But I'll have you know that I'm absolutely all muscle, but my doctor still discriminated against me, so I need to find a practice that handles morbidly obese, totally not due to fat, and high risk pregnancies. Do you do that?
Yeah, honestly, I'm like, so where do I go? I just kind of blurted that out, and she's like, well, honestly, blank and blank.
I might have to start watching this and covering it. I don't know, though. It's triggering me so unbelievably that I might not be even able to stand to look at her face on a regular basis.
It's like another hospital is the only one that's going to take you like that. And I'm like, now I don't have a choice now. That's the only hospital that will take me without a BMI limit. And she said it's because
you have a choice. You could say, okay, I'm actually going to do what I was supposed to do, and I'm going to start eating healthier. I'm going to quit overeating. The food I do eat is going to be nutritional, like nutritionally dense, and I'm going to start going on walks and going swimming and do light activity and get myself healthy. Like you still absolutely do have a choice.
The only reason is because it can be riskier if I need anesthesia during.
Yes, it's riskier because of anesthesia. Like if you would need to have a natural birth via cesarean, just the epidural. Because if she has a baby that's too large, it will have trouble passing through the birth canal. It can get stuck. It can be dangerous. They will monitor the size. They may even, if it was to that point, they would actually schedule a cesarean. So there are a lot of complications with natural birth, with cesareans, all that. When you are a morbidly obese mother, yeah. Don't think about that, Alex. Just think about all the food you're gonna eat.
The birth, which doesn't even ever always happen. It's not.
Oh, it doesn't even always happen. So she's willing to to bet on the fact, that might not even happen, then do what she needs to do to lower those risks dramatically.
I don't know.
I'm sorry, this is vile.
I think it's just breathe. It just felt absolutely shocking, and like I told a few close friends about it, and they were just like, "What?
Oh, what? Oh my God!" So your friends who totally aren't telling you what you need to hear, and instead they're just coddling you and stroking your ego and feeding your freaking delusions. She really pissed me off.
They're thin. They're like, I didn't even know that was like a thing. Like I would never even have to think that's a thing.
Because they wouldn't have to think about it because they're thin, so they wouldn't have the same complication concerns you have as a morbidly obese woman. And FYI, you're not freaking Ronnie Coleman. I am obese because I have muscle. It's the jokes write themselves.
Because of thin privilege, and like you just don't even.
It's not thin privilege. It's freaking obese consequence, you freaking dolt. And thinness these days, for the most part, in America, at least in countries like America, where they push the standard American diet and eating 7 times a day and serving 800-calorie breakfast coffees, it is work. It is effort. It is a chore to be thin and to be fit, or to at least be just mildly fat. Your size is easy. It's average. It's the norm. You have consequences of your choices. Your friends don't have thin freaking privilege. Jesus. This is so fat. I didn't know I was doing a full-on fat acceptance reaction today, guys, but I might as well classify it as that, right?
Think that is something that people would deal with, and it just made me feel the way it was delivered, especially like it sucks enough, and I'm like, why did no one, don't you think when this was put into play last summer, like a notice should be sent out or something? Don't you
what do you want them to do? Send a letter out to all of their patients? Well, the thin patients don't need to know about it. You should have said, like, you should have been keeping up with them. You know, I know I'm still morbidly obese and I'm totally not losing the weight I need, but I want to get pregnant. Is there anything I need? And they would go, well, you know, we do have this limit. So if you want to keep going here, you have to just be able to stay within that limit, or you're going to have to find a high risk pregnancy doctor. Like, it's not their job to like notify you of every single thing. Chances are they probably sent an email or something out. A lot of the time, things like that go unnoticed, go into an automatic trash or spam folder. The fact of the matter is like, why, when you were pregnant last year, you know, when you had that miscarriage, why didn't you know about this weight BMI limit then? Why didn't you talk about this with them then? I don't know. She's just, holy crap.
think like people should be notified? I would have switched providers immediately because I don't want to have to worry about if I gain 10 pounds, you're going to boot me. And what if
How about you don't have to worry about gaining 10 pounds if you would lose the weight you needed to lose? And she's sitting there making them sound so mean. Oh, they're going to boot me if I lose only 10 pounds. Well, Alex, it's only 10 pounds on what? 350 pounds? 320 some? I don't know how, she's over 300. So, you know, it's not like saying, when I said, my doctor, oh, you know, I'm 117 pounds and my doctor told me they're going to dump me if I gain 10 pounds while I'm pregnant. That would have been unheard of because I was in a good, healthy weight range. She's morbidly obese. This is just spinning the narrative and being a victim.
if I show up on delivery day and I thought
I really didn't know this was going to be an absolute rant. I do apologize. That was not the intent.
10 and I gained like 11. Are you going to say no delivery here? Like, what?
No, obviously, if you showed up in active labor at a hospital, they would take you. Like if you went into labor early. But you have to make plans for where you're going to deliver. It's part of a birthing plan. And if you need to go somewhere else, your plan would be set up so that you would just automatically go there. So you wouldn't be working a birth plan around a hospital that may not take you. If obviously, like I said, if it was an emergency and you had to get to the closest hospital or whatever, they would go, they would get you there, they would stabilize you, they would do what they could, and then they would transfer the baby out if need be to a NICU if they don't have one, and then they would treat you and stabilize you and transfer you along the way. Okay, we were given the whole, hey, we need to be realistic here. If you have to pick a NICU, which one would you pick? Which one do you want on your chart? Because there was a real imminent risk of my son being born early. I went into preterm labor at 26 weeks. So that was a clear part of our birthing plan. So she said, if I show up at the hospital to have a baby, you're going to turn me away because I'm only 10 pounds past your limit? No, of course they would treat you. You know what I mean? Like, again, this is just her catastrophizing and being a freaking victim. How about during your pregnancy, Alex, you lose 25 pounds?
I don't know. I'm very disappointed. I just didn't even think this was something I would have to worry about.
I'm disappointed in you, Alex, because you talk about how much you want to be a mom and how much you want to have a baby, but yet you don't give a crap about the vessel, which is your body, that is literally going to be growing this child in every way possible, and you care more about, my BMI, they don't want to take me, they want me to only gain 10 pounds. Like, I may actually have to, like, be selfless and think about somebody else and not think of myself for goddamn once, and eat healthier and give up some of the junk and quit going to the fairs and eating every frickin' thing on the menu. Oh boy, wow, poor pitiful Alex.
And I know there's gonna be people who are like, they have every right to do that. You need to lose weight. Like, it's not their fault you're fat.
Yeah, they do, because they're doing you a favor, because you're high risk and they want you to set up your care to where you are going to be able to get the most appropriate care for you and your baby. Not just the baby, but you too. Your health, your life, your safety is a concern. So they want to make sure you have a plan and you're going to a place that can provide you with appropriate care, not just the baby. So, but fat phobia, guys, fat phobia.
You're clearly not a bigger person, and this doesn't.
God, you're clearly not a bigger person.
If you must know someone in your life who's bigger, and can you imagine this happening to them?
Yes, I can, because being obese causes complications and risks. And it's like, you would think at a time in your life like a pregnancy, you could put your freaking pride aside enough to worry about the health and well-being of that child you're bringing into this world over your own freaking feelings. You know what I mean? Like, it's just such a selfish mentality. Like, this is horrible. I want her to have a healthy, happy baby. I don't want her to have complications during her pregnancy. God forbid anything happens, she loses the pregnancy. That would be heartbreaking. It's just, but you have to understand you have the major role to play. You have some control over this. You have all the control over it, Alex, as far as your weight and your size and your diet and your nutrition. Wow.
It's just scary. And now, I mean, yes, it's early. To me, it doesn't feel so early. 10 weeks for me feels incredibly far, because I'm so grateful to have even made it this far right now. And to have a bomb dropped on me when you think you're settled. I love my practice. It's easy. I'm used to the routine. I love going there. To have this put on you where it's like, okay, well now.
Yeah, and you could continue to go there, Alex, if you would lose. And you're clearly within, like, falling into their cap. So clearly their BMI cap is high. It's probably, like I said, around 30, 34, something like that. You have the ability to lose a little bit of weight and stay within that time frame. But no, this woman is she balks so much at the thought of only gaining 10 pounds or, God forbid, losing a little bit of weight when you're pregnant as a morbidly obese woman, that she's making this big deal when she could do the things she needs to do to be able to stay at this practice and see these doctors that she knows and she feels comfortable with. This is a problem of her own making.
Now you gotta find something else. It's like, it's just another layer of stress.
It's another slap in the face with reality that you don't like.
With pregnancy that's already so stressful. Oh, I don't know. Talking about these things, it's important. As hard as it is, and as much as it opens me up to direct criticism, it's important to talk about, because I genuinely did not know that this was a thing.
You didn't know that being morbidly obese was a risk. That's why you've been getting weight loss surgery to lose weight. You know what I mean? To look better and to try to get pregnant. You have fertility issues because of your weight and stuff. You didn't know this might be a thing. I can't even listen to her anymore. I'm sorry. There's 7 minutes left in this video, but I will link her video down below, obviously, so you can go finish listening to this freaking vitriol that's like spitting out of her mouth right now. It's not even vitriol, really. It's like, maybe it's vitriol coming out of my mouth, but this garbage is coming out of her mouth. I really hope she can get out of her own head and put her pride aside and stop and look and go, you know, I do have this problem. I am overweight. I don't eat healthy. I eat too much. I have my child growing inside of me that is depending on me, and I need to make some changes. I hope her husband sets her down and says, Alex, honey, like, we can't deny reality anymore. You've got to start losing this weight. You can do it healthily when you're pregnant. You're too big. This is my child too, and I want it to have the best start in life it can. Quit freaking eating so goddamn much. Eat healthier and lose some weight. I'll help you. I'll do it with you. I'll support you. Oh my God. Anyways, guys, like and subscribe. I may check in with her. I may not. I'm going to have to think about that, because she's really, really pissed me off in this one. I'm sure she's frustrating a lot of people. Yeah, so I hope you like this one. I'll get this one out probably today. I have some more stuff to react to and schedule, but I probably will put this one out today. I'm sorry it's very angry and ranty, but this is absolutely disgusting. This is absolutely shameful. But anyways, let me know what you think in the comments. I will see you guys very soon, and I hope you guys are having a good start to spring. Yesterday was the first day of spring, so happy spring, guys.